Hi guys, Janette Barber, Daily Woodie, Central Park, New York City. You just missed something funny. Uh, just a minute ago, some people came crashing down through the bushes over here, and so I was waiting. But as soon as she got to the point where she could see me, the woman just gets so mad she starts swearing a blue streak. She's going, "Motherfucker, there's so many people around here," and they stormed off. And I thought, wow, I probably like her because we clearly have a lot in common. But it's hard to find a place completely alone on a nice day, certainly, in the park. Anyway, last night I had pie. Ooh, it was really good. Now it wasn't not regular pie because I don't, if I'm gonna eat a dessert, it's not gonna be stewed fruit. That seems like, if it's not chocolate, then I don't understand. What is this another language? What? Or creme brulee or chocolate? Otherwise, it doesn't make sense to me. It's something I would need counseling for. And I know I always say I don't like sugar. I don't like things that are really sweet and like mixed drinks, which is so sad because I love speakeasy bars and the mixologist, but everything I drink is like, oh, that's disgusting. It's so sweet. So I don't like it like that. And I don't crave sugar, and I very rarely eat sugar. What I had last night was a meat pie, which A, sounds dirty, and B, I love a nice meat pie. Sweeney, it's Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street. I know you're scared. I know you're afraid it's going to be another medley, but don't worry, because I don't know the music and I can't do it. So, Sweeney, it's Sweeney Todd. I saw Sweeney Todd when it opened in 1962. I saw it with Len Cariou and Angela Lansbury. It was amazing. I absolutely loved it. So, but last night I had meat pie, and the reason I had it in the freezer was that for New Year's Eve this year, we made, because I love New Year's Eve, it's one of my favorite holidays, but I don't necessarily like to go out. It's not the most fun night of the year to go out. It's just for me, a wonderful night to celebrate, and I love to look at everything that happened the year before and think about the new year, so it's really fun. So we actually went to the Liebenschitz house, and he's got this great big kitchen, and it's wonderful to cook in. Mine, of course, is a New York kitchen the size of a postage stamp, and my entire counter, I'm not kidding, is 2 feet, and there's a big coffee pot. There's no room at all, and then, you got the clusters of dirty dishes. So it's good. It's a fun place to cook. But we made, and we thought, well, let's just make something we've never had, and that'll be fun for New Year's Eve. So we made a tourtiere, which is a French pie, a meat pie. And it's more meat pie, and it's Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber. I wish I wouldn't do that. I really would. It's Sweeney Todd. It's so good, but and it's so easy to make. You start with a couple of neighbors you don't like, and throw them in the wood chipper. And then when you've got that, or if you don't have that, you can just use beef and pork. That is totally up to you. And you take equal parts of both, and all it is the ground meat and chopped onions, breadcrumbs, nutmeg, and allspice. That's it. And then you put it in a pie shell that you buy in the freezer department at the grocery store, unless you're some kind of a pioneer who wants to make it yourself, because I think that's too much. And when you've done that, you stick it in the oven and you cook it for a very long time. And it's fantastic. And I had some, it was in my freezer, and this is how he's finding out that I ate it, sorry, because I was saving it, but then I'm running out of room in the freezer because you feel like you have to stock up because, God knows. So I ate it. And it was better than Sweeney. It's Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street. Luckily, that's all I know of that. I remember my very first meat pie. I don't remember my first fruit pie, but I remember it was back, again, this is just one about my age apparently. It was when frozen dinners and stuff first started. There was a time when that was an invention. And my father got them at the store, clearly, and he wanted to surprise us. So we had to go outside. It was night, and it wasn't supposed to be night, but he'd waited too long, so we went out at dusk, and then we're running around the house. It's getting dark. We're peeking in the windows. We're trying to find out, and because we lived in the middle of nowhere, there were no neighbors, there were no people. There was nothing. And, well, bugs. You ever sit outside with insects and listen to them, and you realize there are so many more of them than there are of us? So we were out there with the hordes, and he let us come in, and we had those little, Swanson chicken pot pies or something, and I thought it was the best thing I'd ever had in my entire life. Do they still make those? I bet they still do. Man, I want me a meat pie. There's something about it first, right? Do you remember Emo Phillips? He was a comic. I mean, he probably is still around. I loved this guy. I worked with him one time, and I thought, you know what? If Jesus were a comic, it would be Emo Phillips, because he was so gentle, and he's a character, but that's also so much of what. And I, you know where I was? I was at the Comedy Trap with Eddie. Remember Airborne Eddie, Eddie Davashevitz, who the meat tenderizer and the lean-to. That Eddie. He's the one that booked us, and it was he had this joke. That I loved. He's everything about him. He's weird and lanky, and every movement he makes is funny. And he goes to and we were in Buffalo, and I think it had just snowed or something. And he goes, "I love the first snow. I always loved the first snow. And every year I would run to the door and I would say, you know the deal. Let me come in now." He was so sweet. I loved him. So yeah, first pie. Emo Phillips' first snow joke. I remember my first pizza. My father would take us, and we had never had, so we'd never had pizza. And we used to go down, he would take us in the car, and we would go down to the marina in Norwich, Connecticut. We'd buy sandwiches and go and eat them in the car down there. But this one day, I guess the place just started making pizzas. And he said, "Do you want to try one?" And we went, no, it sounds disgusting. We're little kids. I must have been like 3 or 4. No, I don't want that. That's horrible. So he buys us grinder, or hoagie. They call them grinders in Connecticut. And he bought himself a pizza. And then he opens the pizza box. Well, poor man didn't get any pizza. I think we had to go and get another pizza. It was really, I want pizza. I'd love to stay, but I've got to go out and find someplace that's going to deliver a pizza. See you guys. Share it if you like it. Bye-bye.